Alright people, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you'll know when I upload the next video and you'll be supporting my channel. Follow me on Twitter. Every time I upload a new video, I'll be tweeting. Origin chance, and this is Death God Legion, Warhammer 40,000 by the channel of the Templin Institute. People told me after I reacted to the Arches video on the Death Core of Krieg that there are such thing as Death God Legion, which are just as extreme or something like that. So I'm like, what the hell? Templin Institute has a video about it. It's gonna be fun. Deep within the Eye of Terror. Eye of Terror is that region of war that was created when Slaanesh was created, right? I'm pretty sure that's the one. Yeah, so deep within the Eye of Terror lies a plague-ridden world home to the Death Guard, the corrupted remains of the once noble Dusk Raider Legion. Corrupted remains, so they are part of the chaos, huh? I mean, it makes sense, deep within the Eye of Terror. The Templin Institute investigates the nations, factions, organizations, and alternate worlds. Yeah. So, I love Warhammer 40,000, lore so far, and I'm, I guess touching on the subject of this kind of, suicidal groups that are really extreme, like Death Core of Krieg and things like that. So now there's Death God Legions like this. I don't know, I just recently reacted to the Death Core, of Krieg. So I'm like, why? It's better now than late, I guess. Since Warhammer 40,000 is so vast and so many videos on the internet, on the YouTube, basically about it. So I don't want to be, react to this, then jump to something else, and react back to this. It becomes confusing. That's why I'm doing the, Imperium of Man, even the second part now. I'll probably do all three of them before moving on to some other, like, Tyranids or Orcs from the Lutin. So yeah, tomorrow I'll definitely continue the Imperium of Man part 2. So yeah. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. And by subscribing, you'll be supporting my channel and you'll know when I upload the next video. 75% of you watches my video regularly and not subscribe, so just hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter, because sometimes YouTube doesn't send notification, and on Twitter I'll be constantly tweeting every time I upload a new video, and that's all I'll be doing, right? It's just a notification system for my channel. I won't be uploading anything else, so you don't have to worry about your Twitter feed getting cluttered, I guess. So yeah, let's do this one.
At the height of the Imperium, when the dominion of mankind had spread across—
What is with this? I saw other Primarchs with this kind of photo too. Why is one hand is fine, the other hand has this massive claw? Is there supposed to be some kind of melee weapon that every Primarch and Emperor has?
The entire galaxy, and a final victory was near, the Emperor was betrayed. Horus, his most capable and favored son, had secretly fallen to the ruinous powers of chaos and conspired with his brothers to destroy all that they had fought so hard to achieve. This great betrayal split the Imperium in two. When Horus marched on the gates of Terra itself, he was joined by half his brother Primarchs and the legions under their command. Among these was Mortarion and his Death Guard. Perhaps more than any other legion, their fall to chaos would leave them twisted and deformed, evidence of the favor of their new master, the Lord of Decay, Nurgle.
Ooh.
Yet in the golden era before their fall from grace, the Death Guard, like the other Space Marine legions, were originally engineered from the gene seed of their Primarch Mortarion. But with the Primarchs scattered across the galaxy by the powers of chaos, the legion was left without its father. At the dawn of the Imperium, for over 8 decades, they fought against alien tyrants and dark cults as part of the Emperor's Great Crusade. The Legion made use of an ancient tactic, unleashing relentless attacks shortly before nightfall. For this, the Emperor named them Dusk Raiders, and their mastery of heavy infantry earned them a fierce reputation as stubborn, enduring warriors.
Damn.
Cast out by chaos, Mortarion had landed on the toxic world of Barbarous. The planet was eternally covered in a poisonous fog, with the local human population forced to—
I'm assuming that everything inside the Eye of Terror is basically corrupted by chaos. It would make sense since it's inside the Eye of Terror. It must be influenced by chaos by then.
live in shallow valleys where the atmosphere was most hospitable. They lived in fear of horrific creatures and warlords that prowled above, which would sometimes descend from the choking fog to slaughter and enslave all they came across. When the Emperor and his legions finally arrived on Barbarous, Mortarion had become a truly resilient leader. He had trained and hardened his people, arming them with crude breathing masks so they might exact vengeance on those who for so long had acted with impunity. Mortarion waged a campaign of extermination against the tyrants and warlords who persisted in terrible mountain fortresses where the
I don't know why. I understand every Chaos God has their own features and powers, but Nurgle, to me, it feels like the properties that Nurgle basically shows, the disease, pestilence, and things like that. Look at that, all this greenish, yellowish shit. To me, that just feels like, oh, hell no. I mean, obviously, all Chaos God are terrifying, right? You don't want Slaanesh and Slaanesh's followers attacking you. They'll basically do to use something unspeakable things, because how Slaanesh is, right? Khorne just basically pure out terrifying, but at least he'll kill you eventually, right? Nurgle basically kill you with disease and pestilence and God knows what. This is just wrong. All of this, look at that. I know people told me that Nurgle is basically more respected one or older one probably or something like that, but still, this is just too much.
Toxic clouds were thickest, until only one remained. But at the highest peak, the toxins were too much for Mortarion, and when the last tyrant of Barbarous was slain instead by the Emperor, the Primarch swore him his loyalty. Mortarion was given command of the Dusk Raiders, and the veterans of his long campaign across Barbarous formed the new core of their ranks. They were renamed in honor of those who had fought against the toxic clouds and now warred across the galaxy as the Death Guard. Mortarion brought his relentlessness to the Legion, and they quickly became masters of not only enduring, but claiming victory even in the harshest of environments. Horus found Mortarion more difficult to bring to his cause than the other traitor Primarchs, but eventually Mortarion was convinced that the Emperor had become a tyrant no better than those who once ruled his homeworld. In the opening battle of what would become the Horus Heresy, the Death Guard slaughtered their fellow Space Marines, including a third of their...
Okay, first of all, the convincing part, how does that work? Before the Horus Heresy, Emperor and his ideology was completely different. After the Horus Heresy, the entire Imperium is completely different, like opposite. Before Horus Heresy, Emperor was basically strong-arming everybody to join the Imperium, but he was non-religious. Obviously, he persecuted people who were religious, I guess, because he believed in science and shit like that. After the Horus Heresy, now it's a strong religious movement in Imperium. That is what the entire Imperium is, right? Heresy. Basically, everybody has the T-shirt. Instead of saying it's supreme, right, it says heresy on top of it. So entire mentality of what Imperium is changed after the Horus Heresy. So how does Horus still convince people, right, after the Horus Heresy, to that Emperor is no longer there? Because Emperor, it feels like he did 180 with what he believed in. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure, it's just a formality that the Horus has to convince people. In the end, Chaos does nudge them, right? They would still, I guess, follow, Horus, but I guess he has to make some different kind of point now or something.
Their own legion who remained loyal to the Imperium. The traitors carved their way across the Imperium, repeatedly engaging Jagatai Khan and his legion, the White Scars, for whom they developed a particular hatred. When the throne world of the Imperium came under siege, the Death Guard were among the traitor legions sent to take part in the ultimate defeat of the Emperor. Mortarion had insisted on sacrificing his fleet's navigators, however, who he believed were not entirely loyal. Without their guidance, the Death Guard were left adrift in the realm of chaos, completely at the mercy of the Dark Gods. The Legion's skill in resisting even the harshest toxins attracted the attention of Nurgle, the Chaos God of plague, pestilence, and disease. He blessed them with his gifts, which even their legendary resilience could not overcome. The Legion was transformed utterly, becoming an army of postulant grotesques, riddled with corruption, yet unable to die. None suffered greater than Mortarion, now a nightmarish demon lord who traded his soul and the souls of all his sons in exchange for deliverance. What emerged from the warp to take part in the Battle of Terra bore little resemblance to what had entered. The last betrayed remnants of the Dusk Raiders were gone forever. In their place stood the Plague Marines of the Death Guard. When the Emperor slew Horus in orbit over Terra and the rebellion...
Imagine that, holy shit. Nurgle can really make you look horrific. I mean, to your enemy at least, that's even more horrific. A demon basically who looks mutilated, but not just that, he looks like a disease and pestilence-ridden guy basically. You can see his flesh is decaying or something like that. There's some kind of a gas or something is oozing around him. He looks demonic because he is now. He's influenced by Nurgle, obviously. And he's coming towards you, the Death Guard Legion. What the fuck? That's just horrifying. I mean, when it comes to psychology, that's just 10 out of 10 right there. They already win some sort of battle just by how they look. Basically, in every war, every battle, psychology plays a major role. So before even the battle begins, certain things are, already gets decided just because of the psychological warfare. So when it comes to chaos, I guess, chaos legions or whatever, that is a real advantage towards them, I guess. Whenever, chaos legions attack, just the way they look, the demonic, they already win at certain point just by how they look. But then again, certain people told me that the level of religious strongness that Imperium has, the love and loyalty towards the Emperor that every single person has, that kind of, evens the playing field. That, psychological warfare doesn't work. Doesn't matter how they look. For the Emperor, anything, that kind of thing.
Collapsed, the Death Guard fell back to the Eye of Terror alongside the other traitor legions. Barbarous was quickly destroyed by the vengeful Imperium, so deep within the Eye of Terror, the Death Guard set about creating their fallen world anew. Their new homeworld is a dark reflection of Barbarous, wrapped in clouds of contagion, home to plague-ridden abominations that stalk rotting forests and putrid swamps. At the dawn of the Legion, Mortarion and the Death Guard fought against the tyrants and warlords who preyed upon the weak. Now, they revel in the bitter irony that they have become the very thing they sought to destroy. They rule their new world from fortresses built atop the highest mountains, cloaked in toxic fog that they alone possess the will to endure. In the millennia since the Horus Heresy, the Death Guard have emerged across the galaxy to spread new plagues and epidemics of violence and decay before withdrawing once again into the war.
Okay, seriously, them being the Chaos Legion, Death Guard of Krieg being the Imperium Legion that for the Emperor, and knowing how, the Kriegs basically have this kind of immunity against lots of, I guess, radiation and shit, because that's where they were bred, right, on the planet, where it's nuclear waste and everything is around. So basically they are stronger when it comes to something like that. It would be really interesting to see that, Death Guard of Krieg versus Death Guard Legion. What would happen? I mean, Death Guard Legion is not completely like Death Guard of Krieg, but they are come close, I guess. They come close in that sense. The mentality of, Kriegs basically is way extreme, but these are chaos-ridden demons, so I guess there's not much of a difference there. This Death Guard Legions basically has certain type of disease with them that only they can endure. But then again, Death Guard of Krieg is really hardened people because of their planet is constantly, it's get bombarded with radiation and shit, and that's where they are, I guess, bred and raised up. It would be really interesting to see what would happen there.
Warp. Ever the traditionalist, Mortarion's forces have remained relatively cohesive. The Legion consists of 7 plague companies, each specializing in different aspects of warfare. The first of these is ruled by Typhus the Traveler, a herald of Nurgle whose own visions for the future have made him a rival of Mortarion himself. Yet from the lowest, wheezing cultist to plague-infested demonic engines, the Death Guard spread ruin and decay so that their own terrible fate might seem less shameful by comparison. Their belief that mankind should be free of oppression and hardship endured, with inner strength and stern resolution twisted into contempt for the weak and timid. The arrival of the Death Guard on the battlefield is marked by a buzzing drone that soon rises to a deafening roar as billions of plague flies swarm across the desolation of no man's land. From clouds of toxic fog, they emerge, eyes glowing with sickly light and blades dripping with noxious poisons. The torrent of revolting destruction they unleash overwhelms the enemy's strength, and even those who might escape are riddled with incurable plagues and do nothing but spread sickness and despair ever farther.
See, this is why in the current world, basically biological weapon is the one thing. Chemical weapon, biological weapon. To me, just to me, it feels the most wrong thing you can do. Nuclear weapon will just kill you, right? Certain people get radiation, sure. Biological or chemical weapon will kill you such a painful and horrific way that you can't even process it. It attacks who you are from inside. It shuts down your internals like it's nothing. It basically affects your mind because everything's up for grabs now. This is why I hate this, this whole nurgle thing about, pestilence and things like that, because whatever damage they would do would be really horrific. If even somebody survived, they would have symptoms that would eventually kill them, I guess, slowly and painfully. In any game, right, in any video game where there is a certain entity that has this kind of properties, I always hate it, like, oh, fuck me. It's just, all this pestilence, disease is like, oh. It's like, only thing I can imagine is like, during the time of Black Death, how people were basically, thinking and feeling, because I, read lots of about that, watched lots of history about that, and, people basically throwing the bodies of the disease left and right, burning them in masses because it was a pandemic at that scale. Everybody was scared, everything was just gross, rats were running around. That just mentality of disease and pestilence, that's just too horrific for me.
So have the sons of Mortarion conquered countless worlds in the name of the Plague God. Join the Templin Institute in the...
Seriously, man, Templin Institute is really underrated, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in thinking like this. This video has 500,000 views, that's it. I mean, Lutin get multiple million, like, 3, 4, 5 million views, so does many channels. Templin Institute definitely should get millions of views, the way content they make. I know it's just brief and introductory at best, but they, whatever information they pack in this short time in the epic way they does, I've never seen any other channel doing that, especially for Warhammer 40,000 thing. So Templin Institute is a really crucial channel when it comes to Warhammer 40k, entire universe and lore. Because you can watch something like Templin Institute's explanation, you can get the feel of it, and then you can move on to more detailed explanation from somebody else, like Lutin or something. So alright, well, that was the Death God Legion Warhammer 40k by the channel Templin Institute. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe. Check out the reaction, there's a link in the description. Check out the cast of playlists like Warhammer 40k playlist with all of my Warhammer 40k reactions. Then there is History, Internet Historian, Kazakhstan Nutshell, and other playlists too. And go to my channel, I guess there are many playlists then that are in the cards. Follow me on Twitter, like I said, I'll be tweeting every time I upload a reaction video, and that's all I'll be doing. No other, I guess, useless tweet. So you don't have to worry about cluttering your Twitter feed. Just only the videos that I guess upload. That is the only thing I'll be tweeting. So which reaction video I did. I guess lots of really good reaction of mine goes under the radar before eventually people find it, which is kind of sad, because at the time I think, oh, look at that video didn't do well. So I usually stop doing that reaction. Then later on I find out, wait a minute, people are watching it. It's just that they didn't get the notification. Alright, I'll see you next time.